I adjusted my graduation gown for the umpteenth time, observing my reflection in the hallway mirror. My mother meticulously arranged the decorations in our lawn. This was intended to be my moment following 4 arduous years of business school and numerous sleepless nights. After several nights and achieving a flawless GPA, I had finally succeeded. Yet something felt amiss. My name is Gabriella, and I ought to have been more discerning in trusting my mother with the organization of my graduation celebration. Sweetheart, please assist me with these centerpieces. Mom's voice resonated through the open French doors. I inhaled deeply and exited onto the warm June afternoon. Our backyard had been turned into a scene reminiscent of a wedding magazine, with white chairs arranged in immaculate rows and flowing cloth elegantly draped. Amidst trees and crystal centerpieces reflecting sunlight, I contemplated. Mom, I believed I concurred with something informal I mentioned, attempting to soften the tone of my voice. She dismissively waved her hand, declaring it ridiculous. This is a significant event, so please wait until you observe my other plans. It should have served as my initial warning. The guests commenced their arrival at approximately 4 p.m. My younger sister, Vanessa, embraced me warmly and murmured, "You look amazing, Gabs." Then, a multitude of relatives arrived. Friends, past classmates, and even my ex-boyfriend Jarvis attended. It was not wholly unexpected, given our family's long-standing closeness. Still, it was shocking to see him clutching. While I was with my cousin Kylie Franklin, a long-standing family friend approached me. "Congratulations, Gabriella," with a warm smile. "Your father would have been immensely proud." I felt a surge of pride as I swallowed hard at the mention of my father. "Thank you, Franklin, it is really appreciated." As the afternoon unfolded with speeches and toasts, I was on the verge of slicing the ornate graduation cake when my mother intervened. She clinked her glass and stepped up, addressing everyone with a very significant announcement. Her voice resonated throughout the yard, causing my stomach to plummet as we all stood there, assembled here to commemorate Gabriella's accomplishment. I possess even more remarkable news. I watched in slow motion as they shared the news and the ensuing quiet. In horror, I observed my mother beckoning Kylie and Jarvis to join her at the front. "We are delighted to announce the engagement of our cherished Kylie to Jarvis. They will be marrying this fall." The room erupted in cheers and congratulations while I remained frozen before the cake. With the knife still in my hand, my cousin, my own flesh and blood, smiled and displayed. She removed her engagement ring, which was identical to the one Jarvis and I had previously examined together. 6 months ago. "Isn't this wonderful?" my mother said, tugging me. I disengaged from an unwelcome embrace, leaving us with 2 reasons to celebrate. Meeting Vanessa's apprehensive stare across the yard, I questioned my mother. "How could you do this?" "My dear, this is excellent news. You were aware of them." My voice faltered. "Were you aware of their relationship yet permitted him to attend my graduation celebration?" "Do not be dramatic," she murmured sternly. "It has been months since you and Jarvis last saw each other. They ended their relationship. Kylie is more compatible with him," as she comprehends. The knife clattered upon the table, highlighting the significance of family and tradition, aired upon the table. I observed Kylie, amidst tears, receiving embraces and displaying her ring. My ring to our families. Jarvis could not even meet my gaze. "I require some fresh air," I managed to utter, while turning away from the celebration that had transformed into my own particular horror. "Gabriella, don't you dare create a disturbance," my mother shouted, but I was already departing. Myself in my father's antiquated study, the one location in the residence that has remained unaltered since his demise. The leather chair retained his imprint, and his library of business literature adorned the. I traced my fingertips around the walls, recalling his words. "Success is the ultimate form of retribution. Young lady." A gentle knock disrupted my contemplation. Vanessa inadvertently closed the door behind her. "And they are all inquiring about your whereabouts," she quietly stated. "Let them ask." I turned to face her, wiping away my tears. "I had not noticed we were falling." "Did you know?" She shook her head. "I discovered it yesterday." My mother compelled me to vow not to disclose that. I laughed bitterly. Naturally, she observed Dad's desk, where his favorite motto was displayed, and contemplated her next actions. Still seated, I contemplated that the most effective revenge is substantial success. I sensed a transformation occurring within me. The pain persisted, however. It was now solidifying into something tangible. I will provide them with just what they desire, I stated with a firm voice. I will assist. I will organize their ideal wedding, after which I will demonstrate the capabilities of the daughter they underestimated. Vanessa's eyes widened. Don't worry, I smiled for the first time. On that day, everything seemed authentic. I will refrain from creating a disturbance or compromising anything. I will ensure that, once the situation stabilizes, everyone recalls whose celebration it rightfully was. The Monday following my graduation debacle, I immersed myself in work for the event planning agency where I interned coordinating events for others. It seemed like cosmic irony, yet it occupied my mind. You arrived early, Mitchell stated, leaning against my cubicle. That as the CEO of our nascent firm. His unexpected appearance caught me off guard. Everything was fine as I glanced up from I was working on a computer screen, meticulously examining client portfolios while completing various tasks. At 7:30 in the morning, he arched his eyebrow. Come on, let's procure coffee. 10 minutes later, seated in the corner of the neighborhood cafe, Mitchell nudged a blueberry muffin in my direction, remarking that I appeared to be lacking sustenance. Is this a coffee break or an intervention? I inquired. Nevertheless, I consumed the muffin. Regardless, regard it as a business meeting. He retrieved his tablet. And I have been observing your work over the past year, Gabriella, demonstrates a unique ability to transform events into experiences. I find it hard to believe you are prepared for further responsibilities. I almost sputtered my coffee in disbelief. Responsibility. How would you feel about leading our new luxury events division? The proposal lingered in the atmosphere. It was precisely the opportunity I had been striving for. The timing seemed odd. Before you could respond, Mitchell added, there is more. We are introducing a new platform that integrates event planning with digital marketing. I require somebody who comprehends both domains. My phone rang with a message from my mother. Family dinner tonight. No exceptions. We need to discuss the wedding. I placed my phone face down. Please provide further details. Mitchell's eyes illuminated as he articulated his vision for the platform. After we finished our coffee, my mind was full of ideas back at the office. Vanessa is incessantly calling my mother regarding dinner today. Are you attending? Do I have an option? Sighed while observing Mitchell through the glass walls of his office as he waved animatedly during a video chat. If you informed me that you may have discovered a method to rectify this entire problem, I would advise you to exercise caution. Understand how mother reacts when events deviate from her expectations. That is precisely the. I lowered my voice. Mom has always exerted control over everything in our lives. It may be time for someone to demonstrate to her that she cannot dictate our choices in celebrations. Success. Vanessa paused. Just promise me you won't engage in any reckless behavior. I inquired about the definition of insanity, however. We both understood that I was already devising a strategy that evening. I arrived at my mother's house to discover Kylie already present, with a wedding magazine strewn across the dining table. She scarcely glanced up at my entrance, exclaiming, "Oh, good, you're here." When my mother appeared, "We need to discuss the wedding arrangements from the kitchen. I informed Kylie that you would be willing to assist, considering your familiarity with, in the context of event preparation." I placed my suitcase down with care. Did you inquire before proceeding? Please refrain from doing so. Gabriella, this pertains to family matters. I found it amusing. Is that our focus? Kylie finally looked up. If you do not wish to assist, I will provide help. I retrieved my laptop. In fact, I already possess some suggestions regarding the venue you are contemplating. The owner and I have affiliations with the premier vendors in the city. My mother's demeanor softened, indicating her understanding. I will comply, but I stipulate that I will do it on my terms. Professionally, this is not merely a favor, it is a commercial transaction. What does that imply, Kylie? It signifies that I will regard this as any other significant event in its entirety. Creative authority over my team and vendors. I met my mother's stare. Unless you do not trust in my talents. The challenge lingered ominously, and my mother's jaw clenched. I nodded in agreement. But please remember that this must be flawless. Trust me, I stated while opening my. Later that night, I sat in my flat, fixated on my laptop, an experience that would prove unforgettable. Mitchell's proposal email will launch the luxury events segment at a significant business conference inadvertently arranged for the same weekend as Kylie's wedding. My phone illuminated with a. Mitchell reflected further on our discussion. The timing is impeccable. During a significant launch, I reflected with a smile on my father's remarks regarding success and vengeance. With nervous fingers, I composed my response. I am in. But I have an idea to propose. Enhance its magnitude. The components were aligning as my mother. I would be orchestrating a grander event than Kylie's ideal wedding, my own. This is a redemption narrative. And this time, no one will be able to usurp my spotlight. I closed my laptop and approached the window, observing the city lights flicker below for the first time since my. On graduation day, I felt genuinely empowered. Let them proceed with their wedding. As I was on the verge of something significant. Demonstrate what genuine celebration entails. The flowers must be peonies. As I worked on the wedding plans, my mother insisted on keeping a close watch, especially on the pink peonies that Kylie always favored. I envisioned them. I did not divert my gaze from my laptop. Peonies will be out of season. They will be 3 times more expensive and will not appear fresh, however. The budget is not a concern. I murmured, recalling all the times Mom had criticized my institution. As bills were discussed, the doorbell rang, prompting Mom to rush to answer it. I heard Jarvis's voice. Voices echoed in the corridor, causing my stomach to tighten. 3 weeks had elapsed since the graduation announcement, however, still elicited a visceral reaction akin to a blow to the belly upon encountering him. Gabriella appeared in the doorway, with Kylie linked to his arm. I was unaware. It would be amusing if you were present. Given that I am organizing your wedding while maintaining my composure, I need to discuss the budget with both of you as a professional clinical matter. Kylie collapsed onto the couch, saying, "Oh, do not concern yourself with that, and Angela is managing it. None of this operates in that manner. I have shut my laptop while executing this. I need to meet with both of you at my office. Surely, we can discuss everything here in my office tomorrow at 2 p.m. I stood up, collected my belongings, and reminded myself that this is business, conducted properly. As Jarvis adjusted his position, "I have an uncomfortable appointment tomorrow. Please reschedule it." I encountered his gaze for the initially, unless this is not a priority. The following day I occupied a seat in one of our firms. Mitchell strolled by the meeting rooms, observing Kylie and Jarvis through the glass walls as they waited in reception. He whispered, "Give me a thumbs up and demonstrate your capabilities." I straightened up. I opened the door of my blazer, and their footsteps hesitated as they entered. The sleek area was not my mother's living room, it was mine. Jarvis remarked, surveying the region. "This office is merely a conference room." I waved to the chairs in the room and stated, "Let's begin," as I prepared my presentation, observing their expressions as I delineated my concept for their wedding. Encompassing every aspect, every piece was methodically designed and carefully selected to produce something unquestionably remarkable. Kylie said, leaning forward, "This is spectacular and amazing. These concepts appear rather contemporary." I proposed a professional approach. "Which is the objective? You desired the ideal, correct?" Jarvis cleared his throat. "The budget appears elevated in quality. It incurs an expense." I advanced to the subsequent slide. "Nevertheless, contemplate the value you are receiving. It will not merely be a wedding, it will be the event of the season, garnering press coverage and social media exposure." Kylie's eyes widened at the press coverage. Her mother did not address that fact. "She is unaware," I smiled. "I own ties with many lifestyle magazines that are perpetually seeking content." The distinctive wedding showcased the bait that had been prepared, and I observed Kylie nearly drooling. Upon considering magazine coverage, there is only one aspect I included. I require complete creative control without any external intervention. Jarvis, along with my mother, expressed uncertainty about Angela's potential agreement. Subsequently, I commenced collecting my documents. I am confident you may locate an alternative. A planner who will comply with all of Mother's directives, nonetheless. Kylie has taken the contract for us to sign. After their departure, Mitchell arrived with 2 glasses of. The coffee was remarkably intense. Even intimidating. I accepted it with a shaking hand. I acquired knowledge from my mother, who exemplified studying as he sat on the periphery. How is the proposal for our launch progressing? It is nearly complete. Contemplating the possibility of not merely announcing the luxury division, I accessed another presentation on my laptop. What if we unveiled a comprehensive rebranding with the new name, new direction? Mitchell's eyes glittered. Continue speaking. The wedding will attract media attention. What better method to exhibit our new brand than through a high-profile event that we strategically time? Announcement regarding the wedding weekend and utterly overshadow their event. Having concluded my smile, you are either exceptionally intelligent or insane. Or both. I have demonstrated this. I shared my preliminary sketches with him. But consider the effect of my phone vibrating. Kylie said that you are altering things. Please contact me immediately. I disregarded it. It centers on Mitchell's enthusiastic remarks over the proposal, allowing her to express concern and attempt to manage the situation. At one point, I was 2 steps ahead, as Mitchell remarked while scrutinizing my expression. Seeking retribution. You appear well in it. I contemplated the contract on my desk regarding the plans. Contemplating the expression on my mother's face upon her realization. Even though I denied it was revenge, we both knew it was. Deception is merely a commercial tactic. I have secured the venue and announced my arrival. Mitchell's office. And you will be surprised to learn who else has reserved it for the same weekend. Mitchell glanced away from his monitor, exclaiming, "Do not inform me about the international business." At the Innovation Summit, I was unable to conceal my smile. They are evidently organizing their event. At the annual conference, 300 of the most significant individuals in our field will be present. The fact that it takes place in the same venue as Kylie's wedding is hardly a coincidence. Is it? I am acquainted with the event coordinator. I sat on the edge of his desk. May have indicated that our rebranding announcement would be a valuable enhancement to their agenda. Mitchell. He reclined, shaking his head in admiration, and remarked, "You are perilous. You know, I received instruction from the finest." I presented him with the venue contract. By the way, regarding my mother, there have been incessant calls regarding the floral arrangements, specifically, pink peonies are involved. He paused when discussing your mother, asking, "Are you certain about this?" Once we reveal the rebranding during the wedding weekend, there is no turning back. Before I could respond, Vanessa interjected, "There is an issue at the office. Jarvis is downstairs. Wishes to converse with you." My stomach sank regarding what he refrained from articulating. Nevertheless, his expression conveyed it. I discovered Jarvis pacing in the lobby, appearing uneasy in his demeanor. He was wearing a fancy suit but stopped upon seeing me. "Can we converse privately?" I guided him to in a compact conference space. We are conscious of inquisitive gazes observing us. What is the purpose of this? Wedding preparations caused him to run a hand through his hair. "Look, Gabriella, I understand what you're saying. My profession involves planning an extraordinary wedding. But he has minimized my role." His voice, the press coverage, and the venue selection. Everything indicates that you are concealing something. I maintained eye contact. It is amusing how you believe you understand me. I do know you. We were in a relationship for 2 years. And then you began seeing my cousin behind my back. I maintained a calm tone. So perhaps you do not know me as well as you believe. That is not the case. He moaned. Observe that Kylie is enthusiastic about everything. You are making plans. But Angela is apprehensive. And I share her concerns. The reason is that, for once, you cannot manipulate the narrative. As this appears to be retribution, I found it amusing. The sound was piercing in the silent room. Retribution would involve me disclosing to everyone how you and Kylie became involved with someone while we were still in a relationship. Retaliation would entail disclosing how. You examined engagement rings with me 3 weeks prior to commencing your relationship with her. Gabriella's face paled. But I am not participating in all of that. I stood up. I am delivering just what you requested for an impeccable high-profile wedding. Should it satisfy you, perhaps you should reflect on why I discovered Mitchell and Vanessa engrossed in conversation in my office. Vanessa inquired if everything was satisfactory, to which I responded affirmatively as I accessed our discussion. Mitchell, I need to provide you with the rebranding announcement files I have been developing. He glanced at his watch. Trust me, I advanced to a new slide. What if we refrained from doing so? Simply disclose the corporate changes. What if we unveiled an entirely new venture? The screen displayed elegant ideas for a digital platform that would transform the organization of luxury events. I have been developing and marketing this concurrently. As I explained, a method to integrate premium event planning with digital innovation would position us well ahead of the competition. Mitchell's eyes widened as he perused the details, exclaiming, "This is remarkable. When did you find the time to accomplish this?" "I have not been sleeping well recently." Vanessa caressed my arm. "Gabs, mother has inquired once more about your failure to respond to her messages concerning the flowers. Whenever I converse with her, she attempts to dominate the discussion." Mitchell, do you believe we are prepared to instigate change? Examined me for a second. You genuinely wish to initiate this during the wedding weekend? Not at the wedding itself. Everyone is concentrating on the ideal couple we will be announcing regarding the future of luxury gatherings. I have presented another slide. And guess who has already indicated interest in becoming our inaugural significant client? The emblem of a renowned hotel chain dominated the screen. How did you accomplish that? Mitchell inquired. Remember that I planned a charity banquet last month, during which the CEO attended, and we engaged in conversation. Digital innovation in the hospitality industry is often viewed with indifference. Revenge is merely excelling in the competition. Vanessa unexpectedly embraced me, as if I were her father. I am exceedingly proud, as I stated, when observing the presentation that would effectuate change. Mitchell stood up, indicating that a decision had been reached. Let us proceed. Gabriella captured my attention. I envisioned something extraordinary, and I grinned at the thought of The expression on my mother's face upon realizing what was imminent was one of profound concern as I prepared to venture into the Florida forest. My mother entered my apartment unexpectedly, declaring that this is a catastrophe. I did not divert my attention from my laptop. They did not switch vendors without notice. Upon consulting with me, I discovered someone who is superior and capable of providing innovative solutions. Peonies are in season. I shut my computer. How did you enter, Vanessa? She provided me with. Her mother began pacing, questioning why she was not taking this matter seriously. The wedding must be flawless, akin to the perfection of my graduation celebration. Words lingered in the air between us as my mother ceased her pacing, her visage softening. This is really a little issue. My dear, it is imperative that you progress. As I have. I stood up and gathered the wedding files scattered on my coffee table, handling this situation with the same seriousness as any other. Why is it that other high-profile events are conducted with such elegance and precision? Have you forgotten that this issue affects more than just you? Mother, will you let me help? The doorbell rang, interrupting us and revealing whose wedding it actually is. I opened the door to discover Franklin, our family friend, standing there with a troubled expression. I heard him say, "Bad time." I responded, "Perfect timing." Upon granting him entry, Mom was departing. Franklin stated, "I came to converse. I encountered Jarvis in the club yesterday." And my mother became animated, asking, "Oh, what did you discuss?" He expressed concern that Franklin observed me and suggested that I am devising a more significant plot. More than only a wedding. I found it amusing, indeed. I am orchestrating the social event of the season is not what everyone desired. Gabriella Franklin's voice was gentle. I have known your father for 30 years. You are precisely like him, brilliant, resolute and occasionally very astute for your own benefit. Refrain from involving Robert. This mother reacted strongly. I questioned why. As my father imparted all the knowledge I possess. Business involves capitalizing on chances and transforming setbacks into stepping stones. Your father would desire tranquility in this endeavor. The mother of this family stated that he would desire my success. Which is just what I am achieving. My phone vibrated with a message from Mitchell. Significant news. Report to the office. I must leave immediately, I stated while collecting my belongings, as a job emergency takes precedence. Regarding the wedding arrangements, my mother inquired if everything is proceeding smoothly. The new florist will reach out to you tomorrow. Indeed, you will receive your cherished peonies at the office. I discovered Mitchell nearly brimming with enthusiasm over the innovation. Summit confirmed that he informed, upon my arrival, their desire for you to deliver the keynote address. On Friday morning, just prior to the wedding ceremony, my heart raced. They typically invite industry veterans for keynotes, as they are familiar with our plan and aware of our upcoming launch. It is revolutionary. He smiled. This is it, Gabriella, our moment. Does anyone else? He is only familiar with the core team and expressed hesitation, suggesting I might have disclosed it to that lifestyle. A magazine is documenting the wedding. I collapsed into a chair. And my mother is going to be distraught. It is fortunate that you are not seeking her approval. Later that evening, Vanessa arrived. Kylie has been incessantly texting me about curling up with wine and food. She is concerned that you are overshadowing her significant day. I am merely participating. In my employment, I served additional wine at both positions. Interestingly, Vanessa, she twisted her glass while Jarvis persistently inquired about you and your true nature. He expressed concern about the ring purchasing trip, indicating that he feels guilty. So let him handle the preparations. I stood up and walked to the window. But this matter no longer pertains to him. Whether it is Kylie or even my mother. What is the matter? Before I could respond, my phone illuminated. Received a text from the magazine editor expressing enthusiasm for our piece, Rising Star upsets industry while preparing for cousin's dream wedding interview tomorrow. Vanessa observed my reading, and I am concerned that I may be very critical. She responded to the announcement of the keynote speaker, saying softly, I believe you are mistaken. Precisely who father always believed you could become. She embraced me and requested one assurance. In the event of a disruption at the wedding, ensure that I have a front row seat. I chuckled, feeling more buoyant than I have in weeks. While gazing out as I gazed at the city lights, I recalled my father's adage that success is the ultimate form of revenge. Nevertheless, this transcended mere retribution. This was intended to demonstrate to everyone, including Mom, Jarvis, Kylie, and the entire globe, precisely what I was capable of. And the most advantageous aspect was that they would never anticipate it. The wedding. The rehearsal supper was in progress. Although I was concealed in the venue's back office, conducting a last evaluation of my keynote address tomorrow would significantly alter the outcome. There you are. Mitchell's voice emanated from the doorway. Your mother is searching for you. When isn't she? I said, closing my laptop. How is everything proceeding? Kylie is distressed since the rehearsal centerpieces do not match her specified shade of wedding pink. Jarvis appears to be contemplating all his life decisions as he sits seated beside me. Everything proceeded as normal. I verified my phone and found 3 missed notifications. 2 calls from Mom, 2 from the magazine editor, and 1 from the summit organizer. Mitchell retrieved an object from his jacket pocket, stating, I acquired something for you for tomorrow. It was a little velvet box. Inside rested an exquisite gold necklace featuring a solitary pearl pendant, which belonged to Mitchell. My grandma stated that she wore it when she inaugurated her first business. It instilled bravery in her. He cleared his throat and said, I thought you might wish to wear it for the keynote. Before I could reply, Vanessa entered abruptly, indicating that her mother was furious after discovering the magazine piece. I asked all of them about the feature's release schedule, and my stomach dropped. All are currently live. Rising Star challenges the business as innovation intersects with tradition in the realm of weddings. Vanessa, the planner who revolutionized the industry, was nearly hyperventilating. Mitchell grasped my hand. referring to me as the next significant development in luxury events. I discovered my mother in the main hall, phone in hand, her face flushed with fury. "What is this?" She presented the phone to me, displaying one of the articles you are utilizing. "Kylie's wedding is for publicity." "No, Mom. I am fulfilling my responsibilities for both professions." "What are you implying?" "Regarding the keynote address scheduled for tomorrow's company launch. Did you?" I genuinely believed I was merely organizing weddings all along. Her complexion drained of color. "What have you accomplished?" "I have built something remarkable." I stood taller, reminiscent of my father. "Would have been proud of." "Do not invoke your father in this matter." "Kylie's weekend." "No, Mother. This is my weekend as well. And for once, you cannot intervene. Manage the tale." Jarvis emerged behind her. "Is everything satisfactory with the guests?" "Inquire about the rehearsal dinner schedule and inform them that I communicated with Mitchell." He accessed the presentation on his tablet, and everyone observed in silence while we elaborated on our digital ideas. Platform the luxury division, the partnerships we have obtained with each slide. My mother's look transitioned from wrath to a blend of recognition and respect. But I could not discern the specifics. "Is what you have been working on?" Jarvis inquired calmly. "Among other matters I encountered?" His eyes were astonished before he could respond. Kylie hurried over, stating that the folks from the magazine had arrived. They requested photographs of the rehearsal dinner. She halted abruptly upon seeing our expressions. "What is occurring?" "Nothing," Mother said hastily. "Everything is satisfactory," I asserted with a smile. "Everything is ideal. Shall we provide them with something to photograph?" The remainder of the evening transpired in a haze of cameras. In flashes and meticulously arranged moments, I executed my role flawlessly. Supportive cousin, exceptional event planner, emerging talent. Every time Mother, I attempted to intercede, anticipating the situation as the visitors departed. "Franklin privately said that your father often claimed you would surpass us all. On that day, he remarked that he doubted even he envisioned this as a compliment." Gabriella, exercise caution. Achievement is gratifying. However, family is meant to provide support, not undermine you. Occasionally, individuals can be unexpectedly remarkable. He gestured towards Mom, who saw us from across the room, indicating that sometimes they simply do. I need to demonstrate to them what they have overlooked. Later that night in my office, I discovered Mitchell waiting with two individuals. He handed me a glass of champagne for a toast, saying, "To tomorrow, to revenge, success." He clinked his glass against mine, which may be analogous in your situation. I touched the pearl necklace he had gifted me, expressing gratitude for everything. "Promise me one thing. When you demolish the house tomorrow, his eyes will meet mine. Reserve a portion of the spotlight for the remainder of us." I reviewed my keynote address. One final occasion, although I sense there will be ample attention available as I drove home with my phone, illuminated by a message from Vanessa. My mother has been weeping, believing she has finally come to a realization. I contemplated my mother's expression upon viewing the newspapers regarding her actions. Jarvis's subdued astonishment at Kylie's unaware enthusiasm for the press. The news tomorrow would elucidate precisely what they had miscalculated. Mitchell's grandmother's pearl would adorn me as I stood in the spotlight that rightfully belonged to me. Allow them to weep, to fret, to ponder what more abilities I possess. Tomorrow could not arrive swiftly enough. The morning of the wedding emerged radiant and I stood at the stage in the hotel's primary conference hall, adjusting as hundreds of industry leaders entered. Mitchell's grandmother's pearl felt warm on my skin. The summit coordinator whispered to me as my phone vibrated, displaying a message from my mother. "Where are you? Kylie requires assistance with her dress." I turned it off as the bride can wait. The planner declared, "This moment belongs to me. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to have our keynote speaker, Gabriella Richards, CEO of the newly established organization." I launched the brilliant events platform, and the applause enveloped me as I took center stage. 3 years ago, Mitchell in the front row discreetly signaled me with a thumbs up. I was informed that I did not comprehend the significance of tradition. "I understand how to orchestrate significant events," I halted, allowing my sight to linger. Engage the audience. Today, I will demonstrate my comprehension of. As my talk commenced, the lights were dimmed to enhance the atmosphere. The demonstration was impeccable. Every feature and innovation was executed just as intended. The audience leaned forward in their seats, recording with phones and taking notes on tablets. This transcends mere preparation. Events I continued to pertain to transforming our experience of life. The most significant movement in the rear of the hall captured my attention. My mother had discreetly slipped out in her mother of the bride preparation attire. Her expression was indecipherable and about significant events. I smiled. We are beginning today with the inaugural flagship event is a luxury wedding that exemplifies our platform's potential through the displays. Behind me, there are live feeds documenting Kylie's wedding preparations, including the floral arrangements. The decorations for the arriving visitors are all recorded in real time by our system. Gasps reverberated across the audience. This was beyond a mere presentation. It was a live demonstration of our technology, as evidenced by my gestures towards the screens. Every detail is meticulously monitored, coordinated, and optimized using our platform. We have established a seamless integration from visitor experiences to vendor management. Traditional celebration and modern innovation prompted a barrage of inquiries. Following my lecture, industry leaders gathered around, cards in hand, eager to engage, discuss partnerships as Gabriella navigated her way to the stage amidst the tumult. Stated softly, I was unaware. That is precisely the issue. Mother, you never organized the wedding. The event commences in 1 hour. I am aware that all preparations are complete and the platform is managing everything effectively. Just before I could respond, she touched my arm and said, your father would have appreciated this. At that moment, Mitchell arrived. The magazine team apologizes for the interruption, but we require Gabriella for the official launch. The subsequent hour was a flurry of photographs, interviews, and contract negotiations. I was simultaneously overseeing the wedding preparations via my tablet, and the platform functioned flawlessly in organizing. I entered the wedding venue precisely as I had envisioned it. As visitors were being seated, Vanessa located me promptly. You missed all the commotion she caused. Kylie had been distressed due to your absence. Nevertheless, everything is remarkably perfect, rendering her speechless. In fact, expressed dissatisfaction. That was the intention. And mother, I saw my keynote presentation. Vanessa grasped my hand, and I noticed she wept during your speech. As the wedding music commenced, I assumed my position, observing Kylie as she descended the aisle. She was undeniably gorgeous. I had to concede. The venue was exquisite, the flowers impeccable, and every aspect was precisely as promised. However, the murmurs among the guests did not pertain to the bride, rather, they discussed the recent news on the platform launch, highlighting her brilliance. Jarvis stood before the altar. Although his gaze continually wandered, he was aware that they all knew. During the reception, Franklin approached me. My mother presented all 6 magazine pieces to me. I observed my mother across the room, enthusiastically displaying something on her phone to other guests regarding my keynote address. I recognized that she was presenting my speech to them while Mitchell joined us with champagne. The investors are becoming increasingly enthusiastic. We have already received 3 significant offers. Hold on, I stated that we will celebrate tonight, as if prompted by the platform's notification system. Simultaneously, every guest's phone was activated with our official launch notification. The announcement generated palpable excitement in the room as individuals perused information regarding the revolutionary system that had been established. At this particular event, Kylie and Jarvis celebrated their ideal wedding. However, everyone was shifting the subject totally. I contemplated the pearl around my neck, contemplating Mitchell's grandmother and her fortitude, alongside my father's faith in me. Mitchell whispered of all the events that had culminated in this accomplishment. I gently clinked my glass against his, toasting to karma, while observing my mother. Ultimately, she observed me with pride in her eyes on the Sunday morning following the event. At the wedding, I sat in my father's antiquated study, encircled by newspaper clippings and magazine articles, while my phone remained inactive, ceased to generate interest among investors. journalists, and potential clients since the start. A gentle tap stopped my thoughts. It was my mother, all seeking a share of what we had made. She stood in the doorway, holding 2 cups of coffee as a peace offering, and then stepped inside, positioning a cup on my father's desk. I expressed gratitude for gathering the clippings. But she interrupted. I want to leave them. I wish to observe the article titled, Innovation Meets, that she selected. Tradition. How one woman transformed the event industry. I gestured towards the framed phrases adjacent to his favorite quote. She smiled sadly at the wall's inscription regarding success as the ultimate revenge. Acknowledging her deserving of it. You are aware of the entirety of it, the public scrutiny overshadowing the silent treatment. It was not merely revenge, it was perfect revenge. And that is what renders it great. Mom. She seated herself. I dedicated numerous years attempting to exert control over everything. I failed to recognize that I was distancing myself from the most ideal aspect of my life. Before I could react, the doorbell rang, and Vanessa's voice ascended. Mitchell ascended the stairs, followed by his mother, who yelled out as they emerged in the doorway. Mitchell, holding his iPad, and Vanessa, nearly bouncing with enthusiasm, approached you. Mitchell stated the necessity to view the summit highlight reel while displaying a video. We watched as other shots incorporated excerpts from my keynote presentation. The last sequence of the ceremony depicted me on stage adorned in Mitchell's grandmother's pearl. Proclaiming our. The platform was launched while the wedding proceeded effortlessly in the background. It has now gone viral. As stated by Vanessa, Kylie mentioned that her mother called this morning. Jarvis and his partner are deferring their honeymoon due to Jarvis's unforeseen circumstances. Business ideas to discuss with you first. Mitchell chuckled and said, let me guess. He abruptly recognizes that his former lover had exceptional business acumen and desires to participate as well. Recently, I informed them by presenting the contracts I had signed that morning, indicating that we have already established partnerships with the top 3 events. Mitchell inquired about management organizations within the country and their overseas offerings. Under evaluation by our new legal team, my mother interacted with one of the magazine covers. I continually reflect about your graduation day and my belief that I was guiding you correctly towards what I perceived as the appropriate path. I had the best mother. Allow me to conclude. I was mistaken, profoundly mistaken, and observing you, yesterday, upon witnessing your accomplishments and transformation. She wiped her eyes. Vanessa had never been prouder than during the group hug moment with Mitchell. He cleared his throat. I have something else. He then produced a little box resembling. Regarding the individual who possessed the pearl necklace, I intended to wait, although inside, it was a key to the office adjacent to mine. He stated that, technically, it is larger than my own, suitable for the new CEO, remarked CEO Mom and Vanessa. Joint CEO Mitchell concurrently announced that we are now officially partners. If you desire it. I caressed the pearl at my neck, contemplating his grandma and her. The fortitude of my father and his conviction in the triumph of all the moments that have culminated at this point. Partners. I consented to take the key while my mother stood upright, adjusting her shoulders. This calls for a proper party this time. No pink peonies. I cautioned. None at all. She assured that only relatives would be there for the celebration as they proceeded. Mitchell lingered downstairs to discuss your initial revelation. I initially perceived your revenge scheme as irrational, but I now regard it as ingenious. Somewhat intimidating. He approached closer. The kiss was remarkably gentle, unexpectedly and rather aptly timed. Franklin cleared his throat and stood in the doorway, grinning. Poor timing. Ideal timing. I stated we are celebrating. And I am aware. Your mother has already contacted the caterers. He approached his father's desk, gliding his touch along the glossy wood. Always believed that success is about affirming one's own convictions, not proving others wrong. I surveyed the study, regarding the documents demonstrating my achievements at Mitchell, who had faith in me at my father's. Quotes continue to guide my path as Mitchell extended his hand, prepared to depart. I could hear my mother and Vanessa laughing downstairs, affirming my belief once more, formulating ideas to establish genuine familial relationships, devoid of manipulation and control. I felt love, support, and pride as I smiled while grasping his hand. I already possess the pearl around my neck, which reflects sunlight, casting patterns on the wall adjacent to Dad's comment encapsulates the themes of success, revenge, love, and family, ultimately illustrating their convergence. Become something superior to my initial plans. Something authentic, something that belongs to me. And this, merely the inception.